Hey, welcome to my channel. Today's video, a little bit different from the usual videos that I make, and this is some manifestation stories because a few of you have asked me to put up some stories, and so I thought I've got some crazy stories actually, so yeah, they would be pretty good to let you know about and how I manifested them super quick without even trying to manifest them, and how I was feeling each time, because I think that's quite useful. I always look back and think, what was I feeling then when I manifested that? How did I feel when I sort of intended that, intentionally or unintentionally? What were my feelings? And then it's just interesting for me to note this stuff. So the first manifestation is I manifested Andrew Lincoln, Rick from The Walking Dead. If you've never watched The Walking Dead, then he's also, I mean, it depends if you're from the UK or not. You're bound to know about him if you're from the States, but he's been in Teachers and Afterlife and lots of different English things. And he actually went to school in Bath, where I'm from. So I kind of knew of him then because he was a friend of mine, but he had a different name then, and he, as far as I knew, he wasn't into acting or anything. Anyway, but that's by the by because, you know, he's been gone a long time. And the studios where I work, I wouldn't say we get a lot of famous people, but we get a lot of people that you recognise, and you look and you think, I know that person from somewhere, and then you realise they're from some antiques programme or some morning programme or something. I think there's a lot of people like that that live in the area, so we do see a lot of different sort of familiar faces. And I was just sort of musing on that. I was talking about how he's not in The Walking Dead anymore with my husband, and I said, it's not the same anymore. They really need that central character. I really feel that they're lacking without him in it. And I've sort of kind of lost the plot with it a bit now, really. I can't really be bothered so much now he's not in it. I keep hoping that he's going to come back. But anyway, so this conversation lasted about 2 minutes. And then I said, oh, it'd be amazing to see him at the studios, wouldn't it? Amazing to see him out there, because I know that he sort of, whether his family still live locally or not, I don't know. So I thought that would be cool. That would cause some excitement. And I don't know, the conversation probably lasted a maximum of 3 minutes. That's all that happened. That was on the Sunday, and on the Tuesday I was due to meet a client at the studios. She's a client of mine that I've done some work for a long time, but I've never actually met her. And then she wanted a new website too, so I passed her on to my husband because that's what he does. He's a developer, and so he was meeting her first, and then I was going to come down and join them later. And I did. I came down when I was supposed to join them, looked over, saw them, looked to the left, Andrew Lincoln. I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. And the funny thing is that when I was talking about him when I talk about something, I tend to have a picture of it in my head. And I had a picture of him sat at this table in the studios, in the cafe, and there he was. He was on that exact table that I had pictured him sitting at. And I looked and I thought, oh my God. But, you know, I pretended not to see, obviously, like you do. And I was walking over and my husband was just looking at me going, oh my God, have you seen who's here? And I said, yeah. And he's going, Andrew Lincoln. I said, yeah, I know. Don't look. You know, because everybody was trying desperately to pretend they hadn't noticed him. It was so funny. And my client was saying, who is it? And I said, oh, it's Andrew Lincoln. You know, Rick from The Walking Dead. What's that? She'd never seen it. I'm like, oh my God. Listed all the other things. No. I said, oh, what? I said, well, he's super. He's big, you know. And then I almost said, well, I don't think she knew what was going on, because my husband said, why can't you manifest me an Aston Martin? That's what I really want. You know, I know you can do it. Why can't you do it? If you could do this. And I said, well, I don't have any desire for an Aston Martin. So I think my client thought, what the hell? Who the hell am I working with here? Anyway, we had our meeting and off I went, and he was still there. And I went upstairs, and my friend is in the studio next to me, and she's heavily into the law of attraction too, and she knows what I do. And I sort of tapped on the door. She said, oh my God, have you seen who's downstairs? She said, oh, I just went down and pretended that I just got a takeaway coffee, even though we've got a kitchen there. She said, oh God, it's crazy. And I said, I really wanted to tell her what had happened, that I had manifested him, but I really felt like it was sort of taking away the excitement if I then said, oh, that was me, I manifested that. I don't know, it didn't seem right to say, so I never did say. Went back to my office in the knowledge that I had just manifested an exciting day for everybody. I had manifested Rick from The Walking Dead, and everyone was super excited, and I'd done that just by talking about it. So I looked back and I thought, what were my emotions when I was talking about it? I didn't really have any emotion. I was just like, oh, it's a shame that he's not in it anymore. And then just mentioned him being at the studios, saw him at the studio, and that was a daydream. I didn't feel anything. It wasn't a feeling visualization or anything like that. So didn't it really have any strong emotion attached to it, just a vibration of him being at the studios. And the thing is, because I'm a complete convert to this, as you know, and it is the way that I live my life, there's no doubt in my subconscious that I can do these things, that these things happen. When I think about things and cause a vibration, things happen. So my subconscious has this program running, oh, when she thinks about things, or when you think about things, they happen. And that's what happens. So that happened within 2 days. And that was, the thing is, these things happen, and the first thing you think is, did I really manifest that? Because did I really? Would that have happened anyway? And the thing is, no, it wouldn't have. I did definitely manifest it, because I'm manifesting my life. That was super awesome. So that was awesome. So I've done it again with somebody semi-famous, which was crazy. We have this local news station, ITV West News or something, and it covers the whole of, I think covers the whole of the southwest, or maybe it's the whole of the West Country. So it's a large area that it covers. And there's this guy on there, this older guy, and he's got to be, I might be doing him a disservice now, but late 60s, he could be early 70s. I guess he's not really. I'm really rubbish with ages. But he's just so super cute. Every time he comes on, my husband's like, oh. Anyway, one day he came on and I said, I'd really like to have a chat with him. I'd really like to see him. That's what I said, see him and have a chat with him. I think I'd just like to have a little chat with him because he seems really sweet, really nice guy. I think that was maybe the Wednesday, and the Friday we were out for dinner. This was all before lockdown, and we were sat at one of our favourite restaurants, and I could hear there was somebody being sat at the table behind us, and my husband was just staring and staring and staring, and he said, oh my God, look behind you. And he said casually, to make it obvious, so I casually did that, and it was him, David Garmston, he's called. Actually, I'll put a photograph up of him now, he's so cute. And there he was, sat behind me, and my husband said, Jeremy said, are you going to go and talk to him? I said, no, I'm not going to go and talk to him. He said, but you said you wanted to chat with him. I said, yeah, but he's sitting down to eat dinner. I'm not going to go and speak to him. I think I'm a nutcase. And he said, I can't believe you've done that. I mean, how on earth does that happen? But I know why it happens. And I just, even though I am a little bit amazed by these things, I'm also not. I'm also, part of me thinks, well, yeah. And then part of me thinks, but what? How can we really make these things happen? It's crazy. What the hell is going on here? And actually, after that happened, the following day, I thought about that quite a lot, and I found myself caught in that cycle of thinking, what really is going on here? For these things to happen, it's magic, isn't it? What really is it? And I did think about it for a little while, but then I just let that go because there's nothing you can do with that. So that's my second manifestation. Okay, this is a crazy story, and it's only a small thing that I manifested, but it came from nowhere. I didn't get a situation which allowed me to get this particular thing. It just appeared in my bedroom from nowhere. It is crazy. So I look at lots of different things on YouTube, and I was watching a beauty tutorial one day, and the girl that was doing the tutorial was using a sponge applicator rather than a makeup brush. And I have a wicker basket where I have the makeup that I'm using at that particular time in. So I might have some BB cream in there, some eyeshadow, sorry guys, bits and pieces. There's not much in there. There's never much in there at one time, only what I'm using at that time. And I, as far as I was aware, did not have a sponge applicator that I knew of. But I was looking everywhere. I went crazy looking for a sponge applicator. I thought, of all the stuff I've ever bought, I must have one somewhere. And I just looked everywhere. It's stupid because I could have just gone to the shop and get one, but I didn't. I thought, I'm going to find one. I couldn't find one. I looked for a couple of days on and off, couldn't find one anywhere. And I never really remembered buying one, but I thought, there might be one somewhere. Over the years, I may have bought one, and it may be knocking around in one of the drawers somewhere, but no, I couldn't find it. So finally, I gave up, and I thought, no, there's no sponge applicator. I'll go into town at the weekend, and I'll get one online or whatever. I thought I'll get one. And so I completely forgot about it. Went to bed that night, got up the next day, got my basket with my makeup in. In the middle of the basket, standing upright with makeup sort of wedged around it, was this sparkly white sponge applicator. It was this long, it was sticking out the middle of the basket, not in any packaging or anything. It was brand new, it had never been used, and it had come from nowhere. And I just stared at it and stared at it and stared at it and thought, I'm having a senior moment here. I just thought, did I go out and buy this? I just couldn't fathom it. I was staring at it, and I didn't for a minute think I'd manifested it. I just thought I'd gone mad because it was crazy. It was the craziest thing. And then I thought back to something I'd read online a while before that about a woman that was looking for a bulldog clip for some files, to clip some files together, and couldn't find one. went to bed, woke up in the morning with a bulldog clip between her fingers. And at the time I read that and thought, really? And I really thought, that seems really, it can't be that magic, surely. But that came back to my mind and I thought, oh my God, what has happened? I've moved into a reality where I have a sponge applicator. Is that what's happened? Have I bent reality? Something has happened. I did not have this sponge applicator. I didn't have it. I don't remember buying it. Maybe I did buy it. I don't know, I don't think I did. It just came from nowhere. And I have read stories like that since, actually, of things just appearing as if by magic. And that was the craziest story ever. And that really made me realise that there's no point trying to explain this stuff, because you can't explain that apart from the fact that I'd gone crazy. And I knew I hadn't. I'd just gone to bed the night before, hadn't thought anything more of it. And there it was. And it was brand new. It had never been used. It was absolutely brand new. Sorry, I know. Even when I think about it now, I think, that was crazy. I'm going to try and do that with something else. I thought about this last night when I was going to film this video, and I thought, I'm going to try and do that again, replicate that with something else, just see if I can do that on purpose. Anyway, so that's that story. You know, I really wanted that sponge applicator. I really wanted it. And it was such a stupid little thing that I could have just gone to Amazon and ordered one on Prime and got one the next day. It was so silly, but then I didn't need to because I got one anyway. Fourth and final story. This was a deliberate manifestation. And so I was working in a shared office. So with my husband and my company, when we had staff, we had a big office in the studios where we are. And then when all that our staff went, and I manifested that, I then moved into a shared office lot. There was about 12 desks where we were. There weren't 12 people there at any one time. But when I moved up there, it was brilliant. Got on really well. I always got on well with the people, but it was a nice atmosphere. It wasn't too noisy. You know, people weren't on the phone all the time, because I find it really difficult to concentrate when there's people around me on the phone talking about other things that aren't to do with my work. I find it really difficult. Some noises I can block out and some I can't. And it was fine to start with for about the first 6 months. And the guy opposite me, Dave, who I share an office with now, we were talking, and then a couple more people joined, really noisy. One was on the phone all the time, and one was constantly racking his keyboard like you've never heard anything like it. I don't know why. It was really bizarre, but it was started to be really bugging, and I really was finding it difficult to concentrate. And I'm not one that really likes to put my headphones in when I'm working around other people, because I just feel a bit rude to do that. It isn't, but I just feel like that. And Dave was saying, I'm just getting so fed up with this. I really can't be doing with it. You know, why don't people think there's other of us here? Because you can go. It's like, if I was going to use my phone, speak to a client, I go outside. I don't ever do it. I wouldn't have done it in that shared office environment, because it's a bit awkward as well. And it's not very private for the client on the phone. Anyway, I came in one morning, Dave's desk was completely cleared, gone, everything gone. And I thought, what? And then one of the other guys said, Dave's gone. He's just gone, and he's just disappeared, and he's disappeared into an office downstairs. It's empty at the moment. And I said, what, really? And then I went down to make a coffee, bumped into Dave, and he said, I've just moved into the office along the end. It's vacant at the moment. I can't stay up there anymore. It's doing my head in. Why don't you come down with me? And I thought, and I knew it was a bit of a commitment then, because if I did do that, and then I would lose my place up there. And I didn't particularly like the office that he was situated in at that moment. I'd been in there before, and it was quite cut off from the rest of the building. But I thought, you know what, I really can't get on up there any longer, and it's only going to get worse the more people join. So I said, okay, take a chance. I'm always one for taking a chance and just seeing what happens. So I did that, moved into that office with him. We then discussed what office we would really like. If we could choose an office, which one would we have? And we said Studio 15, because it was a brilliant office. It's in the main corridor. It's lots of character, really nice and light. It was perfect. But we knew the guys that were in there had been in there for ages, like talking about years, and they loved it there. And we knew them. We knew one of them particularly well, and they had no idea to move or anything like that. But we just said, if we could have that. And then I thought to myself, okay, let's try and manifest that. So I thought I had to find a way to be okay where we were. I thought, if we've got to stay here, what is good about this? It's fairly good view, it's nice and light in there. Okay, it's cut off, but that means it's quiet. So I found a lot of reasons why it was okay to stay there if we had to take on that office. And at that moment, we hadn't signed for it, so we were still waiting to see if anything else came up. But we weren't really expecting Studio 15. So I just put that out there. Really like to move into Studio 15 in the best possible way. Didn't want anyone to get hurt or anything like that. Just wanted it to happen in the best possible way. And I think that was maybe on the Monday. The following week, the guys that were in that office I was talking to one of them and he said, we're moving into the opposite office. And I went, what? And he said, because they're moving out, those guys are suddenly moving out. And he said, there's a bit more space over there, so we think we're just going to move over there. And I went, you're kidding. And then 2 weeks later, we were in there. We were in Studio 15. We've manifested the studio that everybody loved. Really perfect situation for us, and we were in there, and it was as easy as that. Nobody got hurt. The guys opposite just moved out. They moved in. We moved into their office, and it just all happened in the space of a couple of weeks. And that was a simple, easy manifestation. And the reason I manifested it was because I found a reason to be good with where I was. And I always do that with everything. If I'm trying to manifest something, I have to find a reason that I'm good with it not happening. And that, in my opinion, is how we manifest. We find a reason to be good with it not happening, and then we accept that it might not happen. It's never not happened for me, ever. But I always accept that if it doesn't, so I would tell myself, I find a reason that I'm fine if it doesn't happen, and then I give myself good pointers about how it is at the moment and good reasons. If it doesn't happen, then that's okay because this and this. And then I just let it go. I just completely let it go and see what happens. And then I often sort of think to myself, if it doesn't happen, then there'll be a good reason for it. If you've never listened to or read anything by Florence Scovel-Shinn, then I urge you to do that if you're into Neville Goddard particularly, because she is very similar to him, and she's obviously dead now. But she would count everything as a success. So if something seemingly didn't go according to plan, she would say success. She would tell herself it's a success, because she would then know that something better was just around the corner. So that seeming failure, wasn't really, it was just to allow the better thing to happen. And I really liked that idea. I mean, I read this after I've been doing, practicing acceptance for a long time now, but I sort of thought when I read that, she said, I thought, yeah, it's the same thing, and it is acceptance, just accepting of what is now, knowing that something better is just around the corner. And you just do that by accepting what is now. And sometimes that's hard to do when it's a situation that you're in that you really don't like, especially if it's your specific person that you want to get back with, your ex or something. It's quite hard to accept that you don't have that right now. But I bet if you really dig deep, you can find some reasons that you're okay at the moment and why you would be okay. There's a positive to be found somewhere if you look for it. And that is key to manifesting, just acceptance, really. So there you go, that's my 4 manifestation stories. I hope that they were useful, and just to know that with every single one of them, there was no emotion, particularly with the last one about the office, not really at all. It was a statement I made to myself, and I sort of got the studio in my head that we wanted to be, and I kind of really felt the want for it, the desire for it. Yeah, and I do that. I think I do that naturally, but I did kick it in on purpose. I thought, why do I want that studio? And I thought, because it's really great light in there, it's got character. It was the one we had, didn't? It's right in the central corridor, and I like to be in the hub of everything. I like to hear things going on around me. It's 2 offices away from the kitchen. There were so many great things about it. And then I really felt that real desire for it, and then just okay, I'm not in there anyway, so I'm going to be fine if I don't get in there, but if I do, that'd be awesome. But it wasn't particularly strong emotion. The sponge applicator was probably really strong because I really, really wanted it, and I went on for 2 days on and off looking for it, wanting it, and then just completely had that release, huge release, and there it was. It just appeared in my reality. You might listen to that story and not believe it, but I promise you, I would not tell you it if it wasn't true. And you might think, oh, well, you probably bought it and didn't know, or did have a funny moment, but I didn't. I'm fairly sane majority of the time, and I really didn't. It appeared out of nowhere. And if you do have a story like that where something just appeared in your reality, please do mention it in the comments. That would be amazing. Or email me and tell me that story, because I quite like to compile some of these things. And sort of make another video with other people's experience as well. That'd be really amazing. Anyway, if you've never heard about me before, I'm an author, and I am a law of attraction coach and a life coach, and I write articles, that kind of thing. Pop along to my website and have a bit of a read about me if you want to do that and see what my coaching is all about. And anyway, other than that, thank you for watching, and I'd love it if you subscribed.